Mr. Murphy, where do you stand on all the travelling about? Wales' Chris Gunter called it a joke setup, and now UEFA's president, Alexander Seferin, has said that the multi-city format has been a bit unfair because of the travel distances for fans and teams, and because of that, we won't be doing it again. Sorry about that. So the 2024 Euros, we know, will be in Germany, and only Germany.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Is it a bit too late to decide that?
I've been lucky enough to experience tournaments and enjoyed them thoroughly. When I went around Russia, Brazil, France, for example, just where everybody is in the same place. You get this feel of carnival atmosphere. You get this wonderful ambience, if you like, of all the different nationalities.
Ambience, thank you, Danny. You plugged that.
Do you know what
out.
that means?
Not a clue, but carry on. Yes, I like it though.
So yeah. I really prefer it in one place. I mean, okay, Russia's a big venue, and you have to travel about, as was Brazil, to get to certain cities and stadiums. But it's just got a better feel to it.
Yeah,
everybody ingratiates themselves into the tournament, and just what this one, although it's done well in terms of because of COVID and because of the restrictions, it just hasn't had the same flow. And I never like seeing empty stadiums, but I don't think somewhere like Baku, even if COVID wasn't here and people could move about freely, we still see half-empty stadiums. Some of the venues have been chosen for the wrong reasons. And I'm glad that they've seen, yes, from a player's perspective, yeah, it's unfair. If you've got someone doing 10,000 miles, someone doing 1,000.
And for the fans.
The finances, it's a good decision, I'm glad. One country is best.
I mean, Chris Gunter, there was a bit of a pile-on, Chris, when he called it a joke setup. And there's Seferin, Simon, saying it's not fair to fans who are to be in Rome one day and Baku over the next few days, and that's a 4.5-hour flight. Well, you're not wrong, Mr. Seferin. Could you not have seen that coming? He covers himself quite cutely by saying this was a format that was decided before I came into the post, and I respect it. So, sorry, guys, it was all agreed before I get my hands in the job. But surely they could have seen this.
Well, that's a statement of fact, isn't it? You know, Platini wanted to have a tournament across a multitude of European destinations for reasons that he had. Now, obviously, with what we know about Michel Platini, you question the integrity of his thinking, but that the idea that we can apportion any blame to the current UEFA president, I can apportion a lot of blame to him for a lot of things, but he just had to follow through on what was delivered by another regime because all of the deals had been done, all of the obligations had been set with the various participating parties, and it was what it was. But it's undeniable, I think, with most sensible thinking, that a tournament gets designated into one environment so everybody can get insert themselves into the fabric of a tournament, and it's been a proven track record. The problem with society is we always seem to want to revolutionise things that don't need. If it ain't broke, why do we need to fix it? You know, the World Cup has been played predominantly, ostensibly, in one environment. I know there's been a few on the Iberian Peninsula where they've played across a couple of countries, but they've been located in the geographic sort of area. And this is a different dynamic. Now, Chris Gunter's comments at the time were on the back of the fact that the Welsh had been beaten and beaten heavily. They'd had 2 games in one particular environment, so they weren't travelling around left, right and centre. So there was an element of pushback against his response, and there were other teams that had travelled just as equally as much as his team had done and gone on and won games.
Yeah, but he was right to say it though, Chris. He was right to flag it up. There were hardly any Welsh in Amsterdam.
Yes,
when they went there.
No, granted, but but they all knew this about the tournament when they went there. They knew the structure of it, and to some extent, it wasn't ideal. But the fact of the matter is, the universal opinion is that, and I think most people think it, and even Seferin thinks it, is that the tournament base should be a base that's located in one environment and you can build a tournament out from there.
Do you think players travelling these kind of distances impacts their performances? Because recently you said that you didn't think that.
No, I've never thought that. I think that it's an excuse. I think if it goes against you, that will be the excuse that's trotted out.
Yeah.
But players can quite happily jump on private jets in the middle of a midweek game and fly off to different countries when it suits them. And all of a sudden, when it doesn't suit them, it's the reasons why they're knackered. I mean, they're not sitting on an EasyJet seat with their knees up around their ear holes. No. They're sitting on private jets, getting pedicures. So let's get context with it.
It didn't impact the players, Danny. You said it impacts the players. It impacts the fans.
No,
it inconveniences the fans.
No, I think it'd be naive to think that travelling around a lot doesn't create some sort of tiredness and fatigue. I mean, you're talking about details, aren't you? Percentages, small percentages. When people, as the tournament grows on, if you're travelling more, when you've got muscle fatigue problems and all, and you're up in the air, it's less beneficial than being settled in one environment. It's factual. It's science. Sports science will tell you. Anyone will tell you that. But you're talking about small. You're right, Simon. The lap of luxury in which you travel and how quickly and efficient that is puts most teams on an even keel. But you're always going to get an analysis of a tournament like this, played through a pandemic, played over so many different countries. You're always going to get people being critical of how it was done. It's never going to be smooth and faultless. I think the fact is that you try something, you learn from it, and you make your decisions based on the mistakes you've made or not. And then the head of UEFA is now changing it. Well, he's going to, as he said, one country now, and that's fine. That suits the players, suits the fans, I think.
Well, he seems to be stating the bleeding obvious, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
We had to travel a lot.
Well, you do it every day and make a living.
Countries with different jurisdictions and countries with different currencies.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.